Hello friends, today in this video I will explain biological classification, mainly the history of classification. The first attempt of classification is done by Greek philosopher Aristotle. He divided plants into three categories on the basis of their size: large-size tree, medium-size plant shrub, and smaller-size herbs, while he divided animals into two categories: the animal with red blood and animals that don't have red blood. Later, the scientist, known as Carolus Linnaeus, father of taxonomy and binomial nomenclature. He also divided plants into 24 categories, which was based on the number of stamens present in flower. Like if the flower having a single stamen, all the plants are placed in a group called monoandria, just like that the plants in which flowers have two stamens, they are placed in group called diandria, and so on. But this classification is totally based on the reproductive character. That's why it is known as reproductive or artificial classification system. Then, a scientist called R.H. Whitaker, he divided all organisms into 5 kingdoms, like Monera, Protista, plant, animal. The base of his classification was type of nucleus, means in cell, the nucleus is having a nuclear membrane that is eukaryotic or not having nuclear membrane that we called prokaryotic. Type of cell, composition of cell wall, and the role of organism in ecosystem. Let us look at this 5-kingdom classification to understand the issues. Earlier classification systems included bacteria, blue-green algae, fungi, mosses, ferns, gymnosperms, and the angiosperms under plants. It brought together the prokaryotic bacteria and the blue-green algae with other groups which were eukaryotic. It also grouped together the unicellular organisms and the multicellular ones. Say, for example, Chlamydomonas and Spirogyra were placed together under algae. The classification did not differentiate between the heterotrophic group, fungi, and the autotrophic green plants. Kingdom Protista has brought together Chlamydomonas, Chlorella, earlier placed in algae within plants and both having cell walls, with paramecium and amoeba. The 3-domain system given by Carl Wassers has also been proposed that divides the kingdom Monera into 2 domains into archaea and bacteria, leaving the remaining eukaryotic kingdoms in the 3rd domain and thereby a 6-kingdom classification. Let's learn about kingdom Monera. They are the most abundant microorganisms. Bacteria occur almost everywhere. Hundreds of bacteria are present in a handful of soil. They also live in extreme habitats such as hot springs, deserts, snow, and deep oceans. These microorganisms are grouped under 4 categories based on their shape: the spherical coccus, the rod-shaped bacillus, the comma-shaped vibrio, and the spiral-shaped spirillum. These bacteria are special since they live in some of the most harsh habitats such as extreme salty areas, halophiles, hot springs, thermoacidophiles, and marshy areas and gut of cattle responsible for production of methane gas, methanogens. Some of the bacteria are autotrophic. They synthesize their own food from inorganic substrates. They may be photosynthetic, those use sunlight and creates own food, and the other are chemosynthetic, those who converts organic materials into inorganic and create own food. They do not depend on sunlight. They are mostly found at deep sea bottom. Now, the eubacteria. There are thousands of different eubacteria or true bacteria. They are characterized by the presence of a rigid cell wall and, if motile, a flagellum. The cyanobacteria, also referred to as blue-green algae, have chlorophyll similar to green plants and are photosynthetic autotrophs. Some of these organisms can fix atmospheric nitrogen in specialized cells called heterocysts, nostoc, and anabina. Some are heterotrophic bacteria helpful in making curd from milk, production of antibiotics. Some are pathogens causing diseases to human beings, like cholera, typhoid, tetanus, etc. The mycoplasma are organisms that completely lack a cell wall. They are the smallest living cells known and can survive without oxygen. Many mycoplasma are pathogenic in animals and plants. Now, kingdom Protista. All single-celled eukaryotes are placed under Protista. In this video it includes chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans under Protista. Chrysophytes, this group includes diatoms and golden algae, dimids. In diatoms the cell walls form 2 thin overlapping shells, which fit together as in a soapbox. The walls are embedded with silica and thus the walls are indestructible. Being gritty, this soil is used in polishing, filtration of oils and syrups. Diatoms are the chief producers in the oceans. Dinoflagellates. These organisms are mostly marine and photosynthetic. They appear yellow, green, brown, blue, or red depending on the main pigments present in their cells. The cell wall has stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface. Very often, red dinoflagellates, example, goniolax, undergo such rapid multiplication that they make the sea appear red, red tides. Toxins released by such large numbers may even kill other marine animals such as fishes. Euglenoids, majority of them are freshwater organisms found in stagnant water. Instead of a cell wall, they have a protein-rich layer called pellicle. Though they are photosynthetic in the presence of sunlight, when deprived of sunlight they behave like heterotrophs by predating on other smaller organisms. Interestingly, the pigments of euglenoids are identical to those present in higher plants. Example: Euglena. Slime molds are saprophytic protists. The body moves along decaying twigs and leaves engulfing organic material. Under suitable conditions, the spores possess true walls. They are extremely resistant and survive for many years, even under adverse conditions. The spores are dispersed by air currents. All protozoans are heterotrophs and live as predators or parasites. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals. They are divided in 4 major groups according to their locomotion. Amoeboid protozoans. These organisms live in fresh water, sea water, or moist soil. They prey by putting out pseudopodia, false feet, as in amoeba, such as entamoeba are parasites. It causes dysentery or severe diarrhea. Flagellated protozoans. The members of this group are either free-living or parasitic. They have flagella for locomotion. The parasitic forms cause diseases such as African sleeping sickness. Example: Trypanosoma. Ciliated protozoans. These are aquatic, actively moving organisms because of the presence of thousands of cilia. They have a cavity, gullet, that opens to the outside of the cell surface. The coordinated movement of rows of cilia causes the water laden with food to be steered into the gullet. Example: Paramecium. Sporozoans. This includes diverse organisms that have an infectious spore-like stage in their life cycle. The most notorious is Plasmodium, malarial parasite, which causes malaria, a disease which has a staggering effect on human population. So this is the information about classification of microorganisms. I hope you like it. In the next video I will cover topic of fungi and viruses. Follow and subscribe for more educational videos.